This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/pod.
Hello again, hockey fans. Are you ready to brave the wild with me, your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Owygen? Brave the Wild is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps, and of course is also on the Hockey Podcast Network. I can't thank Dylan and Kyle enough for having me on board THPN, the Hockey Podcast Network. Really a pleasure there. The Minnesota Wild were definitely a pleasure jumping into 2025. I mean, welcome to 2025, of course. I hope everyone had a happy new year and all of that. The Minnesota Wild are having a happy new year because so far in 2025, they are undefeated. 3-0, ladies and gentlemen. Not bad, eh? Well, definitely not bad, especially when you looked at what was on the schedule. Washington and Carolina on the road. You figure, well, maybe they'll go 1-2 this week. No, they went 3-0. And then it looked like they're going to lose to St. Louis. And they won that one, too. And, yeah, this guy gets just tired of the injuries. It's depressing. It's beyond depressing. Like, this guy comes up, that guy goes down. But, well, Jake Middleton has a response to all of the whole thing, and his quote is, "We fight the panic." And I'm thinking of making that title of the episode, because why not? It's in The Athletic, of course. We fight the panic. We all know what The Athletic is, at least I hope we do. Russo and Joe Smith, Michael Russo and Joe Smith cover the Minnesota Wild there and do an amazing job, to say the least. 3 games to review, 4 games to preview. Of course, kind of, again, trying to be semi-topical if humanly possible. Generally speaking, of course, again, Jake Middleton did return versus the St. Louis Blues, and looks like he hasn't lost a step whatsoever, and he's been generally outstanding, I'd say, during the course of the season. Incredibly efficient. What were his total points after the after the St. Louis game anyway? 30 games, 15 points. That's pretty good. I mean, again, 6 goals for a defenseman is not bad, especially someone you don't really think of as an offensive defenseman. Unfortunately, Brock Faber might miss a game or two. We'll have to wait and see how that turns out, or more. Who knows? There's been zero information still, so that's kind of frustrating. I remember even the Jared Spurgeon situation. I don't even think I got a chance to talk about it. Yeah, because I think on last week's show, it was more like, yeah, here we go. He's out now. Doggone it. That was a cheap hit by the slew foot by the Nashville forward. Basically getting him to go get his legs into the wall, him being Jared Spurgeon. My guess, again, is a hyperextended knee. So they're saying it's not as bad as originally thought. Could have been an ACL, could have been, who knows. But yeah, probably ACL, if anything, because it was definitely a knee injury. It does seem to be again, that's my guess, is a hyperextended knee, or possibly a sprain or strain MCL, that type of thing. So, again, any type of injury sucks and all that, but when it's like 1 to 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe max, it's a heck of a lot better than, we'll see you next season, hopefully at some point, that kind of thing. So, we're happy about that. Spurgeon is not playing. Carson Lambos was called up and didn't play 1 game. So, that's unfortunate. So, he just kind of got the old popcorn maker treatment. But the other side of the story is, again, so Jake Middleton returned versus the St. Louis Blues, and then Brock Faber appeared to be hit in the face. That's what the upper body injury appears to be. There was a pretty brutal looking hit. Looked kind of on the dirty side, I'd have to say. Michael Russo, again, pointed out what could have been the injury. It's on Twitter or X or whatever, and it's probably on other social media outlets that he goes on as well that I don't need to mention because I either don't use them or I'm not using it at the moment. I can't really tell. It's kind of a grainy image, but it looks like Faber. Yeah, I can't really tell who it is, who the player is. But it looked like a pretty brutal hit though, and it looked facial, possibly a hopefully it's not a broken bone of any kind. I hope it's not a broken nose, but it definitely appeared to be facial, like just boom, right in the face, maybe the jaw, the nose, something like that, the cheekbone. It's one of those type of deals. So we'll have to wait and see. Hope that it could be a laceration as well, but it looked to be more of just kind of a direct hit, more than like a stick or something hitting him in the face, more like a elbow or shoulder. The only other possibility could be even a concussion, I suppose, and I hope it's not that either. I mean, you just hope it's not anything. Again, this is in the St. Louis game. Jake Middleton comes up, Brock Faber goes down, and it was less than 1 minute into the game. It's just like, what the heck? But Jake Middleton's quote is, "We fight the panic." So despite possibly losing one of the best defensemen in hockey, they fought the panic, and, they won 6-4. It's kind of like a storybook of how the season is done, like a microcosm, if looking for the terms here, just searching, of how the season has been. You're fighting the panic and you overcome. So definitely some nice character on this club. No doubt about that. Of course, Jules Eriksson returned and finally was able to score something going forward here versus the Washington Capitals. A game that, a lot of us might have thought early and often the Wild weren't going to win. Tom Wilson made it 1-0. Later on, he'd have a goal taken away, much to his chagrin, because of a high stick. It was redirected with a high stick, which, is not a goal. Ryan Hartman with his 5th goal of the season. Bogosian had a pretty good week on the offensive side. Jules Eriksson would have a multi. Did he have a... No, he didn't score in this game. It wasn't a goal. Okay, that's Carolina. Yep, sorry, these teams look alike, and whatever, and they play each other back-to-back here. Yakov Trenin had a pretty nice short-handed goal. That was nice. Charlie Lindgren basically overcompensated so we have another wraparound goal, which is not very common in the NHL. Usually that's something, you might see it in high school or college. NHL, usually the goalies are too quick and too good to give up a wraparound, but sometimes they happen. I mean, everybody's going to try for it if there's an opportunity. Yakov Trenin did and scored, because Charlie Lindgren overcompensated as he tried to kind of slide over, but then he couldn't stop sliding, which left the net pretty open for Yakov Trenin to basically, you'll forgive the term, slam dunk the puck, excuse me, to make the Wild take a 2-1 lead. Of Ovi Ovechkin, everybody's favorite player, I suppose. I suppose he is. He's up there. He's not my favorite player, but he's up there. One of the greatest of all time, of course, trying to catch Gretzky. Inched a bit closer with his 18th goal. Of course, the Wild do give up a power play, much to our chagrin. Martin Fehervary, we got his first goal of the season. Pierre-Luc Dubois, like Jean-Luc Picard, was able to get his 24th assist on the season. And then Marco Rossi, who else, ties the game up midway through the third period. Gotta love that. That was great. And then you go into the overtime period with the opportunities were there but didn't cash in. You get to the shootout. Marc-Andre Fleury, of course, the goaltender in this one. Matt Boldy would score. Unfortunately, the goal doesn't count towards his score sheet, but it was still a wonderful moment. Matt Boldy, this could definitely be a confidence builder, did score in the shootout. He was the second guy out, and then the third guy trying to save the day for the Washington Capitals and keep things going was none other than Alex Ovechkin. And Marc-Andre Fleury made one hell of a save, is a great way to put it. And it was, again, as worded a million times in the post-game shows, Hall of Famer versus Hall of Famer. And yes, especially Pittsburgh versus Washington in the past. I mean, that was definitely, they were definitely, adversaries back in the day with the Pittsburgh Penguins and Washington Capitals, as the Capitals actually dethroned the Pittsburgh Penguins after the Penguins had won 2 consecutive Stanley Cups. The Capitals were the team to dethrone them and then went on to beat the Vegas Golden Knights and end the drought for that franchise, who's been around forever. This is their 50th season. At the time, it was, in the early 40s, but whatever. But Fleury made the save and the Wild got the win, and that was a wonderful moment, to say the least. Fighting the panic, I suppose, right? Carolina Hurricanes, well, Carolina, you could see some massive frustration on Rod Brindamore's face throughout this game, including goals being taken away due to offsides. He was pretty irate. The fans were mad and blah, blah, blah. But generally speaking, the frustration was boiling over that team because the Minnesota Wild beat them 4-0. What do you think of that? Zuccarello scored. Joel Eriksson finally getting something as he redirected a Zuccarello shot on net. Zuccarello multi-point game here. 1 goal, 1 assist. Marco Rossi, well, let's see. The Wild scored 4 goals. I'm seeing Marco Rossi's name attached to every one of them. 4 assists for Marco Rossi, just like Travis Boyd with the Iowa Wild. But he had a 4-assist game, which is pretty cool. Marco Rossi, though, what an amazing step forward for him this season. I don't think he got a single point versus St. Louis in a 6-goal game, which is a bummer. It's like, doggone it. It's like, I guess he used up all his points in the Carolina game, but I guess so be it. It would have been cool if he could have got like 1 or 2 assists in the St. Louis game, but that felt more like the defenseman on the offensive side of all things, which is kind of funny. And it didn't help losing Faber either in that back-and-forth battle. We'll get to that in a moment, but again, not Zuccarello, Joel Eriksson, Matt Boldy getting his 14th goal of the season. Had a hell of a game versus the Carolina Panthers. Up and down the ice, and definitely looked like a different player. Zuccarello would have nope, he had 2 goals and 1 assist because he scored on the empty net. I apologize. Filip Gustavsson with his 3rd shutout of the season, 9th of his career, and only 21 shots on goal. The Wild were blocking shots and frustrating the Carolina Hurricanes as they couldn't get diddly going. Kochetkov rolls right off your tongue. 26 shots on goal, 23 saves, and the Wild win. The Wild win. Again, there was the empty netter. I believe Ben Jones had a goal taken away. I think that was this. Yeah, Ben Jones had a goal taken away at one point as well. Maybe like too close in there, like interference. So there was that situation. Dermott, of course, has been getting action, been hanging in there, doing okay, no doubt. So I don't really feel any frustrations. Of course, he's been barely out there, only like 7 minutes in this game. So it is what it is. Devon Shore, Carson Lambos, of course, unfortunately, and Jared Spurgeon scratched. So Jared Spurgeon not been put on any like IR or anything, so that's encouraging. But yep, he's just been considered a scratch, at least at that point, against the Carolina Hurricanes. So yeah, again, it's good. Jonas Brodin would get an assist, the only defenseman to score a point, but Marco Rossi with 4 points, Boldy with 3, getting multiple assists in the game, including a goal as well. So Boldy, wonderful overall performance by him. On to the St. Louis game we go. Rock on, right? A back-and-forth battle. The Wild up 2-0 before you could even sit down, some of the fans, in Xcel Energy Center. Both scored by defensemen, of all people, Zach Bogosian, and Middleton assisting on it in his first game back, getting an assist. His first assist is his ninth of the year, but his first assist since returning minute 23 into the game. So welcome back, Jake Middleton. That didn't take long. Zach, and again, a guy who wasn't thought of as an offensive guy until last season. All of a sudden, he's starting to produce for whatever reason. It's been awesome. And Hardman with his 6th assist of the year. Again, like, as he'd been in incredible drought, and I was giving him a hell of a time. Well, what did you expect from me? You think I'm not going to do that? And then John Merrill from Jonas Brodin. Like, how does... It's just like, yeah, defensemen, forwards don't apply here, except for Ryan Hartman, who, yeah, I don't know, had been in a huge drought. So, nicely, you're able to get your second assist, or able to get the second assist on the Bogosian goal. Again, getting the puck on net, and Binnington not able to... hang on, because these were just direct shots. They weren't from any type of deflection, but they were screened, including, it's one you could even say the teammate was in the way a little bit of the view. So you can say that a little bit. Of course, the goalie is going to be screened a little bit in that situation, one way or another, whether intentionally or unintentionally. John Merrill would get his first goal of the season to make it 2-0. And then, unfortunately, the floodgates opened. And next thing you know, our friend Gustafsson goes from a guy who had a shutout and a 4-0 victory to getting 4 goals scored against him in a fairly short period of time. Late in the first period, all the way to early in the second, it was suddenly 4-2 St. Louis. Pavel Buchnevich with his 11th, Jordan Kyrou with his 18th, Jake Neighbors, won't you be my neighbor? Okay, I know. 12 goals this season, and Robert Thomas, I do believe he's the son of a former player with the Blackhawks in the early 90s, late 80s, and all those good old days. I think so. I'm just guessing. I could be wrong. Brandon Saad And Ryan Suter with his 8th assist, both on that 4th goal. So 2 very familiar names there. Oskar Sundqvist, of course, did play for Minnesota a couple years ago. Big center who actually was pretty good and won a Stanley Cup with the Blues in 2019. Far cry from 2019, though. It's just like there's almost no evidence of any Stanley Cup in St. Louis, other than, of course, Jordan Binnington's still there. He was one of the miracle workers of that team, but pretty much ever since then, hasn't been much of a miracle at all, other than, well, beating the Wild in a series, which I guess isn't as hard as, it just wasn't hard that year anyway. Brock Faber would play in 4 minutes and 34 seconds officially. So I think the injury so it's like the injury happened. So it's like maybe he was playing through it, then was like, no, I can't do it. So that's what the belief, though, from Russo. He believes that's where the injury happened. Don't know. Hard to say, but probably, because it looked pretty vicious. Travis Dermott was the lone scratch here, so maybe I don't know what the heck is going on. Spurgeon must be on some kind of a IR. Maybe it's short term, or, well, I guess long term doesn't have to be like forever or anything. It's not like, like in like football, you might miss 4 games or you might miss the whole season. It's like there's 2 different groups in football. 4 games in football is bad. That's a month, And then there's the other one, which is like the whole year. So you don't ever want to hear about injured reserve in football because it's super serious. In hockey, I think it's there's like a 5-game one, and then there's longer, like 10. So it kind of depends what's going on there. So they didn't count Spurgeon as a scratch in this one, interestingly. I don't know. I'm confused sometimes. But Travis Dermott is the lone scratch in this game. Unfortunately, might be seeing Faber scratched. There's been no news, so not sure what to say. Maybe he'll just be able to play. I don't know. But there's been no updates so far. The Wild do play Colorado tonight. And again, digging around on Twitter or X, not seeing anything yet. So we'll see if Faber could possibly play tonight. Wouldn't be overly surprised if he misses 2 to 3 games, maybe up to 5, unfortunately, which would be a big loss. Faber had played in every game so far this year, and 20 points. Pretty damn good. On pace for, about 40 points. So, yeah, a little bit behind last year's pace offensively, but still, obviously, a stud. And any type of, nice run could get him to 50 points. Or get him inching closer, back on pace to like 50 points or so. Last year, what did he have? 47. So, great overall season for Brock Faber as a rookie. Should have gotten the Calder Cup, but was not given it, unfortunately. Calder Trophy, not Cup. This just says day to day. Okay, day to day. Day to day. Yep, he was able to return in that one midway through the year. So, yes, he's literally on pace for 40 points at the moment, and he had 47 last year. Correct. 8 of those were goals at the time. He has less blocks, he has less hits than last year. Interesting. Hope it's not been a sophomore slump. He's literally at the exact amount of time on ice as last year, which is crazy. On average, 24.58. Exactly. I don't even know how that's possible, but I guess it is. Anything's possible, right? To be right on the second. But again, a nice win by the Minnesota Wild down the stretch, as again, the Wild would give up the 4 goals. In comes Marc-Andre Fleury, who gave up 0. Thank you very much. And then you saw Joel Eriksson get his 7th goal of the season. Jake Middleton get his 6th. Again, multi-point game for Jake Middleton. Awesome. Matt Boldy with his 15th. Again, another very strong performance by him. Only 1 goal, but that's okay. Hey, at least he's scoring in some way. And again, just an overall strong game. Looks much more visible in this game. And Marcus Johansson would get the empty netter, only his 6th of the season. Man. But it is what it is. I don't necessarily feel ripped off by Marcus Johansson because he's only making like $2 million a year. But it's not so much of being ripped off, like kind of, sort of, like more so. We just want the damn roster spot for someone different, someone different who you'd hope at some point can have a higher ceiling than what Marcus Johansson's going to give you. Because 6th freaking goal of the season ain't that much to write home about midway through the year. He's on pace for 30 points or something. How exciting. It's wonderful. It's exquisite. What does he have? 16 points, so he's on pace for 32, basically. Exquisite. Yeah. Joel Eriksson, unfortunately, is not much higher because he's missed a ton of time with one thing or another. It's freaking frustrating. Hopefully, he can stay healthy. And Kaprizov, no immediate timetable, unfortunately. He was off to just a insane start to the year. And we'll talk about the other leaders in the league in scoring when we play the Edmonton Oilers coming up. They're on the list. With that said, let's pass out some awards here, if humanly possible. I'm clicking on all the wrong stuff here. Yeah, so the award for this week has to be Marco Rossi again. Marco Rossi, 4 assists, again, strong performance. Or even should it be? I think it can. Marco Rossi, yeah, he's Rossi. He's on pace for, he's got 15 goals, 22 assists. Let's look at the projection again. I remember posting it on X a few days ago. Yeah, he's 30 goals, 44 assists, 74 points, and knock on wood, playing in every game. So, he's played in every game so far. 74 points. That's an awesome improvement over last year. What did he have, like 42, I think? I think he had 42 points last year, if I remember correctly. So, or was it 44, something along the lines. So, obviously, it's been an amazing run. Great job by Marco Rossi since last season. So, it's been a nice jump forward. And looking a lot more like the guy we were hoping to get with that 9th pick in the draft. Thankfully, again, that deep draft we were able to see Marco Rossi slip all the way down to 9th. Some people thought he could go as high as Detroit or Ottawa, respectively, but that did not happen. The James Shepherd Memorial for this episode. I can't give it to Ryan Hartman. I can't give it to Trennan. Goudreau's been pretty invisible. I'd have to say Huznadinov is always invisible, which is frustrating. I want to see Huznadinov, but yeah, when you only play 9 to 10 minutes, what are you going to really do? He also lost to the faceoff circle, 3 of 7. I guess I'm going to go with I don't know, because Goudreau's been adequate in the faceoff circles, generally speaking. Huznadinov usually is above average, but in that St. Louis game, not so much. Maybe Huznadinov, just kind of you're hoping for something. I don't know, he's been so doggone invisible, generally speaking, except for a couple of good moments here and there. And I can't really bash on any of the defensemen. Yeah, he got obliterated in the faceoff circle versus Carolina. He lost all 6. So I think that's the decision right there, unfortunately. It's not a huge, I'm not going to put a huge knock on Merit Huznadinov, but not a good week. I mean, it just wasn't that good. I don't know if it's a lack of confidence lately or what the deal is, but Merit Huznadinov will bring in the James Shepherd Memorial. A fairly gentle one, So I'm hoping for something better here going forward. 4 wins in a row for Minnesota. Then they head to Colorado, San Jose, Vegas, and Edmonton coming up with that said. So we'll take a quick break and then start previewing those games after we hear from DraftKings. And we are back here on Brave the Wild segment number 2. Time to preview the upcoming games. Like I said, Colorado, San Jose, Vegas, and Edmonton. Very tough battles in the Western Conference, except for San Jose. But yeah, you never know. What if that's a trap game? Wouldn't that be annoying? But it's a nice late Saturday night game. I like that. That puts a smile on my face. A late Saturday night game? You think I'm complaining? No, I'm not. I'm really not. I can imagine a nice tasty IPA going with that one on Saturday night. That is, because Saturday to me is an IPA night. Anyhow, sorry for that. Next, we will hear from DraftKings right here and now. Watching our favorite NHL players is the gift that keeps on giving, and playing Pick 6 from DraftKings, an official partner of the NHL, is a way to take a shot at even more cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app and select 2 or more players and choose if they'll have more or less of a stat. Pick 6 is available in most states, including California, Texas, Georgia, Missouri, and more. And speaking of gifts, new Pick 6 customers play $5, get 50 in Pick 6 credits, get $50 anyway. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to play $5, get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Happy holidays from DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccbgpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available anywhere, everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 30 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. And I apologize to DraftKings and to THPN. I believe I read a separate DraftKings app script last week, so just in case. But it was still an active one. But I mean, I believe I was selected to read the Pick 6 instead of the other one, the main one. So, yep, that's so. Hopefully that's still okay. Just obviously either way, get your DraftKings app or DraftKings Pick 6 for sure. So anyhow, Colorado Avalanche jumping on board Thursday night in Xcel Energy Center. Where else? Well, it could be in Colorado too. I think that one's called Pepsi Center or whatever. Lucky them, right? Now, why did I go to San Jose? Why did I do that? Okay. Did I not pick Colorado? I must have just jumped into San Jose early. That was really stupid. Why did I do that? Probably just messed up everything. Of course I did. Off to a rousing start, aren't we? Colorado Avalancheones, or whatever they call themselves. Jonathan Drouin, he's been all over the place, like Montreal and such. Drouin did not play in Wednesday's Jan 8th game against the Hawks. Okay, these are the injury reports. Of course, Scott Wedgwood, important guy injured, reserve Jan the 4th. Goaltender Scott Wedgwood, recently acquired, and has helped the Avalanche kind of turn things around a little bit after a crummy start to the year. Not that any of us were complaining about that. Still not. Valery Nishushkin, I think I got it right, expected to be sailing for 7 to 10 days. This was as of New Year's Eve, according to head coach Jared Bedard. Minnesota Wild injury report. Of course, you will hear this only once. That's why I repeated every single game coming up. Brock Faber. Yep, September. Man, I am losing it today. January the 7th. Faber did not return to Tuesday's game. And again, his upper body, it looked like it could be facial, is my guess. Facial is my guess. I hope it's not any type of collarbone or anything, but it did look, again, facial to me. Kirill Kaprizov, probably a groin. Put on the injured reserve as of Jan 1st. Let's just call it New Year's Day. Jared Spurgeon, New Year's Eve. Yeah, Happy New Year, Jared. Yeah, it's just so depressing. Okay, so he was put on injured reserve on the 6th. It just hadn't happened yet earlier. That's why he was showing as a scratch. But, yes, again, probably hyperextended or knee or sprained MCL, something along those lines. But surgery not required, which is the best part. Surgery not required. You know, obviously, you don't bleep with a knee. So if they're saying no surgery, then it's okay. So as for the comparisons, goals for and against and all that good stuff, Colorado is 4th in goals. The Wild are 14th. Colorado's 24th in goals against. That was their weakness. Wild is 7th. The power play, Colorado's 13th. The Wild are 21st. Penalty kill, Colorado 23rd. Minnesota 29th. Penalty minutes, Colorado 9th, Minnesota 10th. Interesting. So it is a 4-game series, and this is the season opener. So we had to wait all the way until 2025 to play our first game against the Avalanche. I did not think we played them yet this year. Hopefully the Wild can get this done. Thursday, January the 9th. That sounds familiar. Sounds like today. 7 p.m. Xcel Energy. Monday, January the 20th, 2 p.m. Interesting. Oh, yeah, Martin Luther King Day. All right, well, in advance, happy MLK Day to everybody there. February 28th, Friday, 8 p.m. Again, Colorado, because it's mountain time. Cool. That's fun. I like those later, Friday, Saturday, Sunday type games. Tuesday, or any late game on any day of the week, actually. But I'm different than everyone else because I generally work a later shift. Tuesday, March 11th, 7 p.m. Again, more and more sunlight as we go forward. Well, we can see it in the evenings. The mornings, it's not yet. It is happening, but it's like seconds. So it's like 30 seconds or so right now. So you're not going to notice that. 30 seconds a day, that's like, 2.5 minutes a week. You're not going to notice that until it speeds up and it's like more like a minute plus a day. Then, oh yeah, you'll start noticing it, especially after about 2 weeks. Like 15-minute earlier sunrise. Oh, you'll notice. Okay, babbling about non-hockey here. But that's what's fun about hockey is you get hit into spring later on. Wow, we're both pretty equal in wins. They're fourth in the Central though. Minnesota's 26-11-4, Colorado 25-16-1. So they've had more just flat out losses, regulation losses, which do not help in the long run. But too bad for them. I think it's a winnable game for Minnesota and the way they've been playing. Why should I pick the Wild to lose this game? The Wild will defeat the Colorado Avalanche. Final score of 4-3, maybe 5-3 with an empty netter. Most likely guy to score will be Matt Boldy. Matt Boldy will score against the Lanch. Next, please. San Jose Sharks, 13-24-6 on the season, 8th place in the Pacific Division. So, I don't know why I'm getting them mixed up with the Detroit Pistons in the NBA, who are they've made a huge step forward. They're kind of knocking on the door in the postseason. It's the NBA, you got that possible 9th and 10th, 9th and 10th, play-in type of thing. Maybe hockey will do that. Nah, maybe they shouldn't. They really shouldn't, actually. No, that'd be weird. I'm just playing with you, to be honest. But, the Sharks are nowhere near any type of playoff competition or anything. They're going to be out again and looking for a high draft pick. They got a pretty good one last year. The Wild did beat the Sharks earlier this season. This is a 3-game series generally because it's in the same conference, but not the same division. Inter-conference, but not division. Yeah. Sorry. So 5-2 win back on November the 7th. It was a Thursday. Saturday, January 11th, 9 p.m. Cool. Wednesday, April 9th. Did I mention more sunlight? Yeah, it'll be way more. Wednesday, April 9th in the XL Energy Center. It'll be the only time in the X. So this is the Shark Tank, or that's just its nickname. It's called SAP Center. Okay. Stuff you could use at work, maybe to order materials in my case. Yep. And unfortunately, I hate to say these terms. It sounds mean, but this team is filled with Minnesota Wild rejects. Yes, I said that again. It sounds really mean, and it sounds disrespectful to the players, but I don't know. Kind of. The guys that didn't do so hot here necessarily. Mikhail Granlund, if you want to say it correctly, did perform pretty well here, but at the same time was not super great. And then when you got, Kevin Fiala, which eventually led to Brock Faber, I'm pretty happy with the return. Fabian Zetterlund, likely to play Friday, January the 10th. Okay. He had a lower body injury that puts his availability in question, and so on and so forth. So likely to play Friday, January the 10th. So they're going to have a back-to-back situation, which will help the Wild even more. Good for us. Nico Sturm, former Minnesota Wild center, bigger guy, did not play on January 7th with no other details. Sounds like a hockey injury to me. He just didn't play. Anything else? No. Nope. That's how they are. Like you think, yeah. Anyhow, Carl Grundstrom. Say that fast 3 times. I guess it's not that hard. The San Jose Sharks placed Carl Grundstrom on injured reserve on January the 2nd. Again, no other details. It could be a hangnail. It could be. I don't even want to go into anything else. But just saying, it's not a hangnail. I know. He's a hockey player. It ain't no hangnail. The Sharks are 25th in goals, 31st, second last in the league. There are already 32 teams in the NHL, 31st in goals against, and they already have Seattle and Vegas in the NHL. NBA needs both of those still. So NBA actually has less teams, which is really kind of funny when you think about it. I understand hockey trying to stretch things around, and that's kind of can help build everything, build up their popularity and their revenue and all that. And the NBA is just like, they're just taking their sweet time about getting Seattle and Vegas as, expansion teams. But whatever. San Jose is 31st in goals. That's really all that meant to be. San Jose is 23rd in the power play, 18th in the penalty kill. A little bit better than us, a lot better than us. We're 29th. Penalty minutes, they're 23rd, so on and so forth. So San Jose has, well, they're 2-3 in their last 5. I really didn't mention how Colorado wasn't doing. I'm going to backtrack again. God, I'm terrible about this sometimes. Colorado is 3-2 in their last 5, recently losing to the Blackhawks. Okay. Huh. Yeah, they beat Florida and then lose to Chicago. Isn't that just weird? Isn't that weird? That's sports for you. Like, the Vikings beat the, it'd be like the Vikings just beat the, I don't know, beat the like Philadelphia Eagles and then turn around and lose to the New York Jets or something. It's like, okay, that's great. What the heck? So anyhow, San Jose 2-3. They've actually won 2 out of their last 5, so it's something. It's nothing to write home about, I'm sure. I didn't even look at the Avalanche players. God, I suck right now. I was moving too fast. I apologize. Back to Chicago. Mackenzie Blackwood has been outstanding. 7-1. Wow, 169 goals against average. So he's doing better than Wedgwood anyway. But Wedgwood was putting a wedge between players in the net. 2.35 goals against average. Save percentage is both well into the 90s. Wedgwood 91.7. Blackwood 93.8. So maybe the Wild don't win. I don't know. It's kind of scary. Yeah, it's definitely a different vibe there. Cale Makar, only 49 points. He's already got more points right now than Brock Faber did all last year. Lord. Their 4th leading scorer is Casey Middleton with only 26. But, he's still pretty good, though. Nathan McKinnon, 66 points in 42 games. He's the leading scorer in the league, if I remember correctly. Mika Rennan, though, has 24 goals. He's the most goals and 58 points. So, maybe I'm being a little too optimistic about this one. It's, but I'll stick with what I said. They are going to get 3 goals. The Wild somehow get 5. They're not going to score 5 goals, are they? They're not going to score 5 goals against this team. I don't know. I think I'm dreaming right now. No, this is all messed up as well. So it is what it is. Yep, they're going to be a tough one. There's no doubt about that, the Avalanche. But I'll stick with what I was saying. The Wild will definitely beat the Sharks 4-1. Wild will beat the Sharks 4-1. I'm trying to fix this here. Mikhail Granlund, I believe he's leading them in scoring, and yes, he is. Mackenzie Blackwood used to play on the Sharks. He was at 3 goals a game at the time. Vanestek, almost 4 goals a game. Askarov he's their, he's their Jesper Wallstedt, the big name. I remember it was like the year before. Everybody was like, oh, yeah, that's the best goalie in the draft. And then, how Wallstedt was looked on at that in 2020. Askarov was in 2019, 2.3 goals against average, 92% save percentage overall. The only shutout was by Mackenzie Blackwood. Mikhail Granlund with 35 points in 41 games. That's pretty good. William Eklund. He played with did he play with the Blues? 30 points. Macklin Celebrini, they're celebrating the number 1 overall pick in the draft. Almost a point a game. 28 points, 13 goals, 15 assists in 31 games. Good for him. Luke Cunnin, the former Minnesota Wild. Yep, there you go. 17 points in 43 games, but 10 goals. So he's got a little goal scoring ability. Nico Sturm with 4 goals, 5 assists in 9 games, 36 total points. Yeah, well, the Wild will beat the Sharks 4-1. Most likely guy to score in the game is going to be Jake Middleton. I'm going to go with Middleton. He's been pretty interesting to say the least. Vegas Golden Knights coming up here on the weekend. Of course, you have to do everything manual here because I had it there and lost it. Vegas Golden Knights. Thankfully, that's loading pretty nicely. This is a Sunday game? Yes. Oh, yeah. So we get the back-to-back treatment. So, yeah. Fleury will be one night and Gustafsson will be the other. Yeah, well, we'll find out. I'm not even going to guess at this point. I'm always backwards on it. Nicholas Roy, or Waugh, or whatever, was placed on injured reserve as of December 27th. No other information. Ivan Barbashev, injured reserve Jan 2nd. There's just nothing else to say. Actually, it's Jakob. That's how you say it, right? Jakob Demek. Wow. Forget about that. You have non-roster list. You have injured reserve on the non-roster list October 8th. So probably an out for the season type of deals way back in early October. The Vegas Golden Knights, a first-place club, right? 28-9-3. They are ahead of us no matter how you look at it. They are ahead, and they are a legitimate Stanley Cup contender. After having the Stanley Cup hangover last year, they are back in business, folks. third in goals against, third in assists, 7th in power play, 20th in penalty kill. Interesting. Number 1 in the league at staying out of the box, 219 penalty minutes. The Wild are 10th, which is way better than last year. But still, gosh, I mean, Vegas is about 90, I think it's 88 less penalty minutes on the season. Even their shooting percentage, which I don't mention ever, 6th in the league. Vegas beat the Wild 3-2 in Xcel Energy Center back on December the 15th, despite the fact the Wild have been playing well. Vegas is playing great. This one will be in Las Vegas, Sunday, January the 12th at 7 p.m. The Vikings will not be playing. You'll have to wait a whole day to get to that. There will be no Monday night game unless the Wild are playing a back-to-back-to-back, which they are not. Tuesday, March the 25th, right after Paul's birthday. That friend Paul, anyway. 7 p.m. in Xcel Energy Center. So the Wild have home ice advantage in the series, but I'm doubtful we win the series. Vegas is 4-1 on the season, only losing to Montreal. Interesting, who gave them a hard time in the Campbell Conference Finals in 2020. Remember that? Campbell Conference Finals, because there was no Western East that year. Everything was weird. Oh yes, let's have some spicy V8 now. Yeah, there we go. Celery salt is a must. 4-1. They shut out Calgary. Wow. I think I remember that during like Christmas and all those days. But they've been beating people pretty good, to say the least. Them being the Vegas Golden Knights, of course. Adin Hill, who I couldn't even mention his name last week. It's like my brain was like stopping, and it's like I'm not gonna look it up. Adin Hill, 2.58 goals against average, pretty good. Elias Samsonov, 2.65. So two very consistent goaltenders. Look at the save percentage, 907 for Samsonov. Adin Hill, 904. 2 shutouts for Adin Hill. 1 shutout for Samsonov. Jack Eichel is leading the club in scoring by a long ways because he stayed healthy. Yeah, 11 goals, 42 assists. He's one of those guys who could give you 4 assists, 3 assists here and there. 53 total points. He's a plus 27 on the season. Mark Stone, who is oft injured, is ahead of. He's well over a point a game. He could. When is Mark Stone just going to stay healthy and go out there and get 90 points, 90 to 100 points? Why can't it just happen? Yeah, Mark Stone oft injured. Unfortunately, only 26 games on the year, but when he's out there, the Vegas Golden Knights are almost unbeatable. Like when you saw Mark Stone out there in the Stanley Cup final and healthy and all that, well, in the first round that year, it's like, I got a feeling they're going to go all the way this time. And they did, and they won. That was in 23, of course. Very fun playoff run to watch. 11 goals, 24 assists, 35 points in 26 games. I probably already said that, and I apologize. Tomas Hurdle, former San Jose Sharks best player, basically, or one of their best. 26 points in 40 games. Barbashev, who unfortunately may be injured here, and he's missed 9 games already. 30 points in 31 games. Outstanding when healthy. William Karlsson, who used to be like a stud. 31 games, 18 total points. And, of course, Marchessault is no longer there. He is with the team that should be a hell of a lot better, the Nashville Predators. Unfortunately for him, things just did not work out. Vegas Golden Knights win the game, unfortunately. Final score 4-3. 4-3. Maybe the Wild squeak out a point. At least you hope so, but maybe not. Vegas Golden Knights will win the game. The most likely guy to score against the Vegas Golden Knights will be Marco Rossi. Marco Rossi will get at least his 16th if he doesn't score sometime along the way. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. And then you get the Edmonton Oilers, which could make things really tough. So this is not an easy week at all. Yeah, you think Vegas is tough. Edmonton is arguably even more dangerous, particularly the matchup with this one. They've been Why did I do that? Oh, it's not on stats. That's stupid. Okay, it's fixed now. Why did I do that? Edmonton Oilers, Pacific Division. This one will be in Xcel Energy Center. The Sunday game will be in Las Vegas. The Luck BL80 tonight. This is on TNT. Cool. TNT Wednesday night, because obviously Thursday's basketball. Yeah. Xcel Energy Center, 7:30 in Xcel Energy Center. Edmonton Oilers will be taking center ice with the Wild. Evander Kane is out since 1812. Yep. Back when Thomas Jefferson was still in office. Yeah, he's been out since October 8th anyway. Or before that, actually. September 18th, technically. Alec Regula What the heck? Oh, he was never taken off the season opening injured reserve, despite being waived by Boston and claimed by Edmonton. And December 11th per Daniel Nugent-Bowman. And I love that how there's a, just like Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, they have Daniel Nugent-Bowman in Edmonton. That's kind of funny for the Athletic there. Edmonton is 10th in goals, 7th in goals against. Wow. Tied with us. Wow. That's actually really good. Power play, they're 10th. Usually they're higher. Interesting. Penalty kill, they're 22nd. Penalty minutes, 6th. The Wild did beat Edmonton earlier this year, Thursday, November 21st. That was a very impressive win, actually. Very surprising because the Wild were playing sick hockey at the time. And then Edmonton made us feel sick a couple of weeks later, December the 12th, 7-1. Absolute old-fashioned butt kicking. I would say that was the most lopsided loss of the year, wasn't it? I think the Wild were on a streak, and then Edmonton came in and said, "Get out of our face." Basically, is what happened. I mean, that's pretty much. Filip Gustavsson got absolutely shelled, so this was the second time Filip Gustavsson was pulled, at least, when it was against the St. Louis Blues of all teams. You think your goalie's going to get pulled. You usually think it's probably not going to be the Blues, but it wasn't that one. Leon Draisaitl had a goal and 3 assists. Connor McDavid just 2 assists. That's funny. So it's kind of like a lot of the other guys. Kasperi Kapanen, Derek Ryan, Draisaitl, Zach Hyman, not a huge surprise. And Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has also scored in the game. He's having kind of a quiet season, unfortunately, because he'd been pretty good. He's down to 23 points in 39 games. So I don't know what's going on with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. He's just getting old now, I guess. I don't know. I'm just kidding. Just having a down year, I suppose. But other players are playing extremely good, including the 2 superstars at the top. Leon Draisaitl, 29 goals on the year. 30 assists, 59 points, plus 23. And again, Edmonton started the year really bad. Let's not forget that. So that's how hot they've been. Yeah. 16 goals and 39 assists for number 97. That'd be Connor McDavid, who's missed 3 games on the season. 55 points. Zach Hyman, who's gotten hat tricks, but not nearly as sharp and as red hot as he was last year. He's right down there with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins with only 23 points in 35 games. So slightly more efficient than RNH. Evan Bouchard with 23 assists, 7 goals, 30 points in 40 games. Still very efficient. Jeff Skinner has been pretty damn good for the most part. 2.69 goals against average, save percentage of 90. That's not great in a shutout, but it's pretty good. And then Kelvin Pickard, who was in net against the Wild and only gave up a single goal. 9-4 on the season. Stuart Skinner was 16-8 so far. But Kelvin Pickard, who's been all over the like the Kings and such, 2.46 goals against average, but the save percentage is 89.8. So he's not been facing a whole lot of shots. That's kind of how you do the math there. So the Edmonton defense has been really good in front of him. So they're kind of maybe covering up some deficiencies from Kelvin Pickard, I'd have to say. Because if his save percentage is 89.8 with his goals against average below 2.5, well, you put 2 and 2 together there. Jeff Skinner, who's been everywhere, like at Buffalo especially, used to be great. Only 15 points on the season. There's something else. Oh, yeah, Darnell Nurse, obviously one of the higher-paid defensemen in the league. Was he making $9 million a year? Making a lot. 17 points in 37 games. 4 of them are goals. Fortunately, this is a tough matchup, and I don't think the Wild win this game. And if they do, good for us. Maybe the Wild do beat Vegas or Edmonton in one of these matchups, but hopefully. But for right now, I'm guessing the Wild squeak out a point against one of these two. But I think they come out not winning. So we'll say the Wild get 5 out of a possible 8 points this week, if that's semi-reasonable. It's a tough week. I'm just trying to be realistic here. I'm not going to say the Wild are going to go 4-0 against, like Colorado, San Jose, Vegas, and Edmonton. I just don't think so. Like, even San Jose could be one of those weird trap games, but I don't think the Wild lose. Just saying, it could be a weird trap game. Like, imagine the Wild beat all these other teams and then find a way to lose to the Sharks. It would totally figure if that happened. But Edmonton wins this game. Final score 3-2. Edmonton wins 3-2. Most likely guy to score will be Jonas Brodin is going to find the back of the net in this one. Jonas Brodin will score in this one. The defensemen have been a little interesting lately on the offensive side. It's been kind of fun and really good defensively. The Wild squeak out a point against one of these two. But again, like I said, 5 out of 10. With that, we are going to jump into the prospects right away here. Unfortunately, we do not have game time at the moment. Hopefully we can get them back soon. That might be a little TMI, but, I gave it, I guess. What do they call themselves? The Iowa Wild. Jesper Wallstedt. Unfortunately, almost 4 goals a game on the season. He's been all over the place. 5-7 on the year. 3.89 goals against average. Save percentage of 86.8. Dylan Ferguson was extended. Interestingly, he was signed. Now he's with Iowa for a bit. Not sure what's going to happen with Hilav. I'm probably saying it totally wrong. 2.94 goals against average, 89.5. What the heck? Yep, everybody's struggling there. Should have kept William Rosso, but I think he's with the Iowa Heartlanders. It's with either way, they're with Iowa. Okay, Liam Ogren in 22 games, 16 total points. He's the leading scoring prospect. Actually, he's tied with Hunter Haight, but 9 more games for Hunter Haight. 16 points, 9 goals, 7 assists. David Spacek continues to be a factor. 15 points, 3 goals, 12 assists on the season. Good for him, but he's a -11. That's actually getting worse. Michael Milne, only a -4, 14 points. He was off to a red-hot start. He slowed down, unfortunately. Still solid, but yeah, definitely off to definitely a slow down. Damn it. Travis Boyd, not surprisingly, leading the club in assists with 17. Remember, he had the 4-assist game earlier in the year. -7 though, and Brendan Gauntz, -12, despite having 18 points in 23 games. Up with Minnesota a little bit earlier, Toporowski, the Iowa native, 6 goals, 7 assists, and he's a +4. +4, good job, Luke. Davenport, Iowa. Caden Bankier is a -13, which is his worst on the team. 14 points in 32 games, half a point guy. Sammy Walker is a +4. That's really good, actually, but only 9 points in 21 games. Graham Clark is a -11. What the heck, Graham? What's going on? What's going on, Graham? Come on, Graham. Let's go. Okay, sorry. Carson Lambos is even. 2 goals, 3 assists for 5 points in 28 games. Ryan O'Rourke is a -2, 4 points in 26 games. He's been stuck at 24. He's been stuck at 4 points forever. Kyle Masters has definitely missed time. Unfortunately, he's a -2 in only 9 games. And he's only 21. 1 goal, 1 assist. Juracek, pardon me, I didn't even mention this, has been called up to Minnesota. So, interesting. David Juracek. So, Carson Lambos is now back down with Iowa after just making popcorn for 3 games. That's great. And now it's David Juracek. So, it's unfortunate the Wild did not put, or let's just say John Hines did not put Carson Lambos out there. It's unfortunate, but maybe it was an overall organizational decision. I don't know. That's a bummer. He feels kind of pointless. You'd like to see him get his feet wet, but I guess not. We'll see if David Juracek gets his feet wet with the Minnesota Wild. Gonna do where is he? For the fun of it, the Damon Hunt watch. Okay, he's now doubled his total that he had with Iowa. 9 games, 4 assists with Iowa. 14 games with Cleveland, and 8 points, 2 goals, 6 assists. Damon Hunt, looking good with the Cleveland Monsters. The Monsters. Oh, okay, sorry. Look at Juracek. Yep, in 11 games, only 2 assists for Minnesota. Obviously, this would not be his NHL debut. He played 43 games in the NHL last year for 10 points. David Juracek. So, yes, it's not his NHL debut. He's been up and down, kind of halfway up and down. Looks like he was just getting scratched a lot. Only 4 games with the Cleveland Monsters and 6 games with the Columbus Blue Jackets. So, yeah, that's interesting. That's probably part of the problem there. Get the guy on the bleeping ice one way or another. If it's an AHL, so be it. Let the guy play instead of making popcorn. Kind of a waste of time. And I don't know. He's a first-round pick and all of that. When you consider what the Wild gave up for him, too. I mean, it's pretty interesting. To say the least, Nate Benoit, 1 assist, for Quinnipiac, the former national champions against us. Doggone it. After getting 1 point all last year with North Dakota, another Another bane of the Gophers' existence. Quinnipiac again, 1 assist in 16 games. But he's even, so good for Nate Benoit. Yep, Jack Pert. Yeah, I think he's still at 0, right, for Iowa. Yeah. Oh, no, he got his first assist. 19 games, 1 assist, -4. So at least he finally got his first assist. And Servek Petrowski up now at 28 games. Of course, unfortunately, he's no longer a part of the Grapevine. And yeah, he's getting no minutes for that Czech team there. That sucks. I'm sorry, Servek, that they're treating you like that. Ryan Healy, well, yep, college has resumed. 12. He's now played in 12 games instead of 11. And the same 4 assists as before. That would be from Harvard. Rager Lorenz, 5 assists in 20 games. But he's even. Last year he was plus 21, though. That's way the heck better. So, step back, unfortunately. Danila Yurov, like I always talk about, less minutes because just, he's on his way out soon. That's okay, as long as he doesn't get hurt. 9 goals, 7 assists in 34 games. That's a total of 16 points and a +8 for Meteorg, if I'm saying it correctly. Danila Yurov. Jimmy Clark of the Gophers. They played Mercyhurst last week. Thank God they didn't lose one of those, because when you're playing against one of those kind of teams, that's how you screw up your ranking. Not by losing to Michigan State, but by losing to Mercyhurst. That'll kill your ranking, but that did not happen. The Gophers swept Mercyhurst. And now it's back to Big Ten play. 22 games, 13 total points, and a +16 for the 7th round pick, Jimmy Clark. Pretty good. +16 on the Gophers. That's pretty good. Caleb Parker, right shot defenseman for the Calgary Hitmen at age 20. 12 points in 16 games. Outstanding. Point producer, won the title with Moose Jaw last year. Yeah, what did I press here? What am I doing? Okay. Getting nowhere. That's what I'm doing. Aaron Pionk. Well, yep. Wow, almost a point a game defenseman for the University of Minnesota Duluth. They've definitely been better this year than last. +3 on the season to go along with his overall numbers. 15 points in 18 games, 14 assists. Power play quarterback there for the Bulldogies. Riley Height, everyone's excited about him, of course. 52 points in 31 games. So, yep, still definitely on pace for 100 plus. I think he's missed some games, though, unfortunately. 20 goals, 32 assists, and a +20. Definitely stepping up of late, as he was on the list for the top prospects. Kumpalainen, who also participated in the World Juniors. 11 points, 29 games for the Pelicans. That's, obviously, it's what's shut down for the juniors. 6 points for the Finland under-20 club in 25 here. 2 goals, 1 assist, 3 points in 6 games. Okay. And a +1. Okay. And then the rest of the guys from this year's draft, well, at least for that. Charlie Stramel with Michigan State added another point here. 6 goals. I believe it was a 6th goal. Yep. 6 goals, 9 assists, 15 points now for the Michigan State Spartans, who are probably number one in the whole country. +10 on the year. Wow. Charlie Stramel, nice step forward, buddy. Leskovar, Mr. knocking people around and all that. 6 games on the year. And that's it. Next, I think that was his first game. Yeah, finally. Chad Woodsky, the goalie there. Red Deer Rebels, 3.43 goals against average and a save percentage of 9. So he's probably getting pelted with pucks because, still above 90, but goals against average of 3.5. Come on, defense. So he only played in the World Juniors, played in 2 games, and was a +1. Sounds about right. 9 games so far for Tampere, if I'm saying it correctly. 1 goal, and that's it in 9 games. +3, though. Aaron Kiviharu, again, had 11 points in 32 games so far for Helsinki. What the Helsinki? 3 assists in 7 games in the World Juniors, but a -3. And Finland lost to the United States for the gold medal. So congratulations on the silver, guys. I'm not trying to be condescending at all, I promise. Ryder Ritchie, again, has been stepping up a little bit, but was quiet again. He stepped up and is quiet again. Doggone it. 25 games, 11 goals, 13 assists, 24 points, -1. And the man of the hour, the man of everything, the captain of the U.S. World Junior Club, That would be none other than Zeev Bulliam, or Bulliam, or however yep, I've heard multiple pronunciations. He's been absolutely crazy. Over a point a game with Denver so far this year. Won the national championship. Wins the gold medal now. Plus 10 in just 7 games. USA kicks the major butt. 6 points in 7 games. 2 goals, 4 assists. Wow. Can't wait to have him suit up in the Christmas colors, or the North Star colors, as we could call that as well. Can't wait to see Mr. Bulliam suit up for the Minnesota Wild, because it's going to be something. With a hopefully very healthy Brock Faber, be it a different pairing or on the same pairing on occasion, when you want to go for like a super lineup out there. In certain cases, maybe in the power play or something. Man, that could be fun. Because Bulliam is left shot, isn't he? Yep. See, yeah. So you could pair them together if you really wanted to have like a super team out there. You could do it, and it could be a lot of fun. Otherwise, separate them so you can have 2 different units. Nothing wrong with that. Put Faber on the second unit, and Bulliam lead the way on the top unit. Sounds like a plan, right? Then you might have the best power play in the league doing stuff like that. Otherwise, again, if you want to have the super team, yeah, score a goal right away, then there's that possibility. Okay, point made. With that said, well, we're going to take a quick break and come back and hear from you guys in the fan interaction segment. And we are back here on Brave the Wild, segment number 3, fan interaction segment. Let's get started. At Brave the Wild, at Brave the Wild. The Instagram is, because I have it up here, Brave the Wild _MN. That's the Instagram, pardon me. And the TikTok, which is for all the podcasts, is paladino.live. So it's like all the podcasts are in one place. Yeah, no, but I'm not a big TikTok guy. I don't care to see, no matter how good looking a girl might be, I don't need to see them dance. I just don't care. It's nonsense. I'm not here to see that. It's kind of more like to get the shows out there so people can hopefully come to the show and check it out. And of course, Twitter at Brave the Wild, like I just said. Facebook.com/Brave the Wild is the other option. I very rarely get comments on Facebook, mostly just likes and like, all right, good, glad the show's out, basically. So it's pretty much what it is. People love that. So as for getting to the X, which is where 99% of the conversation usually is, we will lead things off with Tom Hayen. Tom Hayen, yep, love to hear from him. He says, with the 2026 Winter Classic now set, why in the name of all that is holy does the league insist on shoving the Crows, paper towels, and tuxedos down our throats for the Winter Classic? Yeah, I can understand the frustration there. At least next year, the 2026 one, potentially it's a better matchup. Of course, the Rangers have been a massive disappointment, but Rangers versus Panthers, so that's kind of somewhat getting there. But no, I can understand the whole thing just seems, frustrating. Obviously, they've had crappy matchups. In a lot of ways, I compare the Winter Classic to like Thursday night football, where it could be perfect because it's kind of like, might be at an odd time or like a different setting, kind of special. But like where Thursday, it's fun to have Thursdays instead of just like late in the season. How it used to be just kind of as the season progressed, like you get Saturday night football or Saturday afternoon football, as the season gets closer to like December-ish and such. But the matchups always are funky, like Jacksonville versus the Jets. Like, oh, that's great. Or like Tennessee Titans versus the, Carolina Panthers. Like, okay. Great. Oh, and 6-3. Okay, 6-3 with 5 minutes left. It's great. Wonderful. Even like Chicago, Seattle recently. I think that was like putrid stuff. It was like, what is going on? So like the matchups, I don't know if it's just bad luck sometimes or just bad matchups, plain and simple. And like Blackhawks versus Blues, that was not appealing. It just wasn't. 2 non-playoff teams. One of them really stinks. The other one's not so good. That type of thing. And man, that team actually did score 4 goals against us. But yeah, I can understand the frustrations about the whole thing, Tom. So I'm with you on a lot of that. I like the setting. I do like the setting for the most part, but of course, New York and Florida, that's a little bit funky. But I suppose it's probably going to be in New York, right? I would hope so. That'd be kind of weird if they're putting it down to Florida. But I don't know. Who knows what it is. Well, I didn't even look at when it is headed to Florida. Oh my God. Okay, it's headed to Florida. Yep, that might be the other reason you're like annoyed too. Florida, right? Okay, that's a good matchup, or that's a good setting. Not. Well, not. And I know it's not the first time they've had it in a warmer climate, but that's a super warm climate sometimes, depending on, I guess Florida occasionally can be cooler too, depending on the just weather pattern. But nope, I understand the frustrations. I think it's a weird thing, and I think a lot of people are not nearly as interested as they were in the past. Yep. So Jay Bushy getting things going as well says, what are the expectations for the second half of the season? It looks like there's a reply mixed in. And Tom Hayen responds here, says, make it through 3 consecutive games without somebody sustaining an effing injury. That would be a nice expectation. It'd be progress, because it's like this one up.
Hey y'all, it's Kelly Clarkson here to talk Wayfair. No matter your space, style, or budget, shop Wayfair.com to make your home way more you.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
One down, or just another one down. Or it's just, it's like, I don't know, it's kind of like the listener poll. Up, I lost another listener, like they keep leaving, whatever. Hey, I got a new one, and I lost 2. It's almost like that, but no, it's not that bad. Sometimes it feels like it, though. You get frustrated, like, it could be, people that like your show, but you always kind of remember the one that doesn't. And it's like, damn it, screw this person, But anyhow, the expectations for the second half of the season. For the longest time, I was kind of considering something along the likes of like the Wild finishing in 3rd place in the division, like a Colorado or Dallas passing the Wild, quite possibly. Sadly, it looks incredibly possible. But I think if anybody's going to pass the Wild, it's Colorado. It's not the Dallas Stars. I still wouldn't be surprised if it turns out that way. The Wild end up finishing 3rd, so they remain in the division leaders. But a Colorado definitely could be a huge threat. A game like tonight can help prevent that. I mean, you go out and beat them head-to-head, well, there you go. But I'm kind of still leaning that way, even though this past week has been insanely impressive. But it might be just kind of a general thing where the Wild are kind of hanging around. Maybe the Wild do stay in 2nd place. But I guess I'll stick to my initial prediction for now because, I don't know, can they get through 3 games without an effing injury? Yeah, Tom Hayes, yep. So I will say 3rd place in the Central Division. Still in the division leaders. I think it's a good enough team to definitely make the postseason. And please win a playoff series. And I'd like anything beyond that as well. Yeah, I mean, my expectations are higher, generally speaking, than some people's. Like, some people are just make the playoffs, or just win 1 series. Yes, start with that, but then hopefully build beyond that instead of just, keeping your expectations in the mediocre land, which we tend to do way too much here in Minnesota because of all the frustrations. Derek put out a poll, and I will get it going for at Crease and Assist. And, of course, Derek does the Crease Assist podcast. Excellent stuff. Yes, sir, from Western Wisconsin, coming out, of course, from Elk River originally, but teaches in Western Wisconsin. Teresa and Kalisha joined the show and do a great job. Sometimes one or two of them, or sometimes one of them is out. And, yeah, it's a nice team there, though. They do a great job. And it's a lot of fun to listen to. Very, very good hockey knowledge, to say the least. I was posting about how Super Marco Rossi, that's what I call him, Super Marco, is now projected to have 31 goals and 76 points. That was on January the 4th. Unfortunately, I think it's slightly lower, 74 points, because he had no points scored at all versus the Blues. So now it's 30 goals and 44 assists. Still damn good. Projected to be he's a plus 17 on the year right now and projected to be 34 because we're right at the midpoint. Marco Rossi gets an A. If, say, you want to have like a mid-term grade, whatever, like semester or whatever, he gets an A. Maybe not an A+, but an A, yeah, absolutely an A. Kaprizov would have had an A+, but damn injuries. But, okay, we'll give him an A+ anyway. But, with the right to be frustrated with the damn injury. But, I don't know, it's not really his fault, it's just injury. Anyhow, the Derek Felska lightning round is here. Yeah, it's here. And welcome back to the Derek Felska lightning round. Hershey Bear, what's this all about? No, I'm just kidding. That's where Boudreaux That's where Bruce Boudreau was for a long time, and I believe he still lives there now because he just really became a part of that town. Hershey Bear, that's of course an AHL club, I believe, right? Hershey. Hershey Bear fans rained down with a world record 104,000 plus bears on Teddy Bear Toss Night. Wow. Should NHL teams get into spectacles like that for charity or leave it to the minors/junior leagues? If they do, just once a year, maybe like once a year, that's pretty cool though. Like, like maybe, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's good for the minor junior leagues because I bet it's kind of hard to get fans sometimes to those. Sometimes it is. I mean, I can imagine it's harder to get fans to those than NHL games, but it wouldn't be the worst idea. I wouldn't be completely against it. I'm leaning towards, again, leave it to the minor/junior leagues so they can get more and more fans and build, I don't know, build excitement, that kind of thing. Obviously, it's, like a charity thing. You're not talking about revenue, but it can lead to revenue as well with the fact that, people are like, hey, this is fun and I really enjoy this. It's good for the game of hockey. And I don't know, it wouldn't be the worst thing ever if NHL teams did it once a season, but only once a season. That type of thing. That's kind of cool. I know I'm going in two different damn directions, so apologize. Here's the next one from Derek. With the Buffalo Sabres struggling, should the Minnesota Wild consider bringing back Alex Tuch? Alex Tuch. Who the heck is that? No, I'm just kidding. First round pick, 18th overall in 2014. Man, it's been that long already. He is 28. Yep, he is from the U.S. I thought he was. 30 points for the Sabres so far, 59 last year, 79 in 74 games in 22-23. He does miss a little bit of time, but so far this year he has not. And with the crappy Buffalo Sabres, he's a plus 13. He's a plus 14 a couple of years ago. Buffalo doesn't win games very much. He's a really good player, isn't he? He's actually been much better with Buffalo than he was with Vegas, like much better. It kind of made him grow up a little bit. Not that he wasn't, it's just he was kind of relying on the other star players with Vegas and such. Yeah, he's a minus 10 one of those years, but the 20 Vegas team wasn't that great. Plus 16 in 21, though. But yeah, that was when they were getting to the conference finals and then getting beat every dang year by, Dallas and, not every year, but yeah, it was Dallas and Montreal. Very frustrating conference finals for them, I'm sure. And then those teams went on to lose to the Tampa Bay Lightning, which odds are those Vegas teams would not have beaten the Lightning. Like the 23 team probably would have beaten them, yes. That was a great team. But Tuch was already gone because of the Jack Eichel trade. To the point, though, he doesn't miss that much time. He doesn't. He missed time in the past, but then again, some of that's just shortened seasons, though. So what am I talking about? He doesn't miss that much time. I would be interested. It kind of depends on the price. Like, what are we looking at? A first-round pick? We already gave up the first-round pick for Juracek, which I don't know what to think about that trade. I still don't know. I mean, it's exciting in a sense. Makes things interesting, but I mean, I'm sure a lot of those other players in the minors are demoralized by it. Like, oh, great. Like, well, am I ever going to have a chance? But at the same time, they haven't earned the right to make the NHL, really. I'm just going everywhere, aren't I? Yes, I mean, depending on the price, sure, I would love to get Alex Tuch. I think he's fantastic. I mean, just on paper alone, you can tell this is the guy who was a focused player. Like, when you're a plus for a team like Buffalo, you've been damn good. Like, he was a -3 his first season there, only 38 points, but it was a short, well, no, it actually wasn't a short year. So that year he did miss time. Yep, that year he missed time, 22. I remember now, yeah, I think he was hurt at the time of the trade or something, or right before or something. He missed time during that season anyway, and he was a -3. But since then, plus 14, plus 9, and plus 13. It's pretty freaking good. 22 points plus 14, that's 36. He's a plus 36 since being in Buffalo. Well, you're -3. Plus 33 since being in Buffalo. That's freaking awesome. I say yes. Again, depending on what you have to give up, and maybe you dump some of the prospects you probably don't have the best feeling of, that maybe Buffalo's more interested in, and you hope it's not a Tage Thompson situation like St. Louis, because that could happen. Oh yeah, like don't trade Urov for him. I'm not going to trade Urov, that type of thing. You're a check. Yeah, you're a check, and then he goes on to be an 80-point guy or something. But yeah, sure. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think he's going to be that good. I don't think Juracek is going to make us forget about, whoever. Like Larry Murphy or something. Like offensive guy who's maybe not the greatest defender ever. See, I like the two-way guy that Tuck can be. And it's just he's efficient. He's really good. So yes, it depends on the price. Sorry, I made this drag this out forever, but very intriguing question, and I would like that. Yeah, I would be a fan. Next, are we witnessing organizational depth or a good coaching that this Wild team is able to keep winning even with important players out of the lineup? Pick one or the other, not both. I will say good coaching. Because some of the, I can't say organizational depth. I mean, when you think about the Devon Shores, Ben Joneses, guys like that, who are, with all due respect to them, have provided almost nothing. Honest to God, provided almost nothing. I will say good coaching. John Hines, yeah, well, again, with gun to my head, yes, John Hines is moving up the ranks very quickly with the Wild coaching, history. I am a fan. I'm a fan. I like his demeanor. I like that he is even keel, because think about it. What did Jake Middleton say? Fight the panic, right? And what is John Hines doing? Fighting the panic. So I think so. I think John Hines fits this team better than, say, Dean Evison did. And again, without panicking, he's able to make adjustments. See, Mike Yeo made adjustments that it was like, oh my God, what am I going to, gotta do this, gotta do it. And he'd maybe come up with something weird that didn't work, and it made the team even worse sometimes. So, and then Dean was like, no, that's what we do. That's what we do. Go out there and fing play. Blankety, blankety. Go out there and fing do it. We got this. Yeah, we scored. Hell yes. And then, okay. Like they'd have some success, but not long-term success. I think Hines, with that demeanor, could be a really good playoff coach. I think he could. He hasn't had a whole lot of opportunity really to be successful in the postseason. So it's like let's wait this out. Let's give John Hines a chance into the postseason. I think he wins at least a series if this team is up to the task. I think they do with John Hines as a coach and maybe even beyond. So John Hines gets the nod for that question. Great question, Derek. Which Minnesota high school hockey team has the best logo? Well, that's a toughie. It's a toughie, but it's cool. So pulling up a few here on the fly. Rosemont High School looks pretty cool. I like that shield with the lion-looking thing. Egan is kind of a similar vibe. It's actually better. That one's really cool. Eastview Lighting, that's not too bad. Wayzata High School, well, it's kind of like the Washington Senators with a W, but not as good. Minnetonka looks like the Gophers with blue, obviously. Edina High School, yeah. It's like I'm not the biggest high school hockey person, even though I really strongly respect high school hockey more than other high school sports. If I pick a favorite high school sport, it's hockey by a million miles. I'm an Edina fan, and I do like their logo. I really like their logo, actually. I like the detail of it. I like the colors, and I like the Hornets. It's really nicely done. So it's going to annoy some people. I like the Edina Hornets. I'll eat cake. Yummy, delicious. I will be a cake eater and be proud of it, doggone it, even though I'm not rich. No. Okay, here we go. So Edina, I mean, that's an awesome logo. And some of these others are really good too, obviously. Like, was it Warroad is just it's an upside-down Gopher logo, or upside-down Minnetonka logo, isn't it? It's not bad, but it's nothing too great. Well, maybe I'm not thinking maybe. Let's look it up real quick. But I remember it not being all that good. Yeah, Roar Road High School logo, please. Yeah, Yeah, that's not bad. No, that's not bad. I'm totally wrong. Okay, yeah, that's not bad at all. Actually, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's like it's a Native American logo. It's actually pretty good. But I will stick with the Edina. I like the detail. I like the kind of castle look. It kind of has that dragon warrior look. With that really nicely designed hornet. So it's going to be Edina. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I like Edina. I like the name and the logo, and I really like the color scheme. Like, I love it. North Stars. Anyhow, I think this is the last one, and it's a fun one for sure. What is the best 16-bit hockey video game in your opinion, and why? Well, for me, all my memories, and I played hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of games on it. Like, I played full seasons. NHL 94. It's right when the North Stars left, unfortunately, and became the Dallas Stars. Mike Modano had his 50-goal season, and the next year he was disappointing, and the team was disappointing. And I don't know, it felt like a lot of people like 95 all the time, but I like the 94 one. It just seems better, like NBA 95 versus NBA Showdown, which is like the 94, I believe, 93, 94. Yeah, I think both of those are better. So obviously we're not talking about NBA, but NHL 94, I have so many memories, and plus, unfortunately, without the North Stars, that sucks big time. I wish they were the North Stars still. But then you have the Hartford Whalers, you got the Quebec Nordiques on there. Winnipeg Jets are still there, like the real Winnipeg Jets, like the real logo, not this Labatt blue-looking thing that I've never liked. I hate it, actually. I hate it. I've never liked this new Winnipeg team. The other one, I liked them. I didn't love them, but I liked them. They weren't as obnoxious back then either. I don't know. It seemed like the fan base is like Green Bay Packer fans, like a northern version of Green Bay Packer fans. It's just, I don't know. They're not as jerky, but still, it is what it is. NHL 94, absolutely. Again, the most memories. The gameplay is really, really solid. You can do a lot of things, obviously, set the lines and such. So I'm a fan of NHL 94. For the Super Nintendo, excuse me. Usually I go with the Sega Genesis with sports and fighting games, even though I don't like fighting games that much. They're better made on the Genesis, which I think 70% of the population disagrees. For sports, it absolutely has to be Sega Genesis most of the time, but in this case, it is Super Nintendo NHL 94 EA Sports. It's in the game. There we go. We'll wrap things up with that. Again, major shout out to the Crease Assist podcast. Amazing job. MNW Young Guns / MNW Prospects. Pavel Bennett, Justin Baki, amazing job there. Love you guys. Love you guys. Awesome people. Pavel Bennett coming from Czech Republic. Justin Baki coming from Mankato, right? Yep, or is it Duluth? Doggone it. I get those two mixed up, and I think about those two schools. But, yes. My apologies if I screwed that up. Well, he lives in Crystal, so either way, I know he's a fan of, I think he's a Duluth fan, if I remember correctly. I think I'm getting him mixed up with Sebastian, who's Mankato, the old friend Sebastian. Justin, I believe, is Duluth, if I remember correctly. Oh, yeah, UMD. Yep, there it is. Thank you, Justin. Okay, from Crystal. So, yes, thank you. Well, I just went to the Twitter really fast, so thank you for putting that on your page there. So, yes, UMD. Okay, done with that. Again, thank you guys so much for being cool. Obviously, Minnesota Wild Global, awesome Facebook page. Scott Cavendish, Kathy Main, Michael Fick, David Abraham, David and Chance Kostek as well. Amazing site. Chad Walski, if I didn't mention the name. Patrick Turner from Florida doing Minnesota Wild Nation. Great page as well. Hockey Podcast Network, massive shout out. Thank you guys very much. Of course, Devil's State of Mind, great New Jersey Devils podcast, and that team is back on track this year. Frustrating loss a week ago, but I was watching against the Kings. But that was frustrating to see them getting, stupid shut out by Darcy Kemper. What the heck? But generally, they've been really strong this year, so hopefully keep it up, and good guys there. With that said, we will take a quick break. We will step away for the week. Hope all of you have a wonderful week, and the Wild continue to play, as there will be some tough tests going forward. Edmonton and Vegas and Colorado, should be good. Talk to you then.